For those of us who have been in the role-playing game hobby since the before times, by which we mean since before Stranger Things came out, the Alexandrian is a well-known name. He wrote some blog articles about how to be a good game master. He was really into 3rd edition D&D, even trying to create his own 3rd edition retro clone, but that's about as far into game design as he's gone. Looking at Matt Colville and his god-awful Draw Steel RPG, perhaps that is actually a saving grace of his. Alexandrian wrote an entertaining blog for a while, and while perhaps his best advice boiled down to have multiple clues for mystery adventures so characters have a chance of solving the mystery, it was admittedly for a while a decent RPG blog. It fell off in recent years until Alexandrian wrote a How to Be a Great Game Master book, heavily promoted by all manner of industry shills to make it to the New York Times bestseller list. The book itself provides some decent game master advice. It was nice to see a long-time name in the role-playing hobby find some success. Now, the Alexandrian, like you'd expect from someone of his origin as a theater kid and the like, has always had leftist politics. That is fine. Only an idiot would refuse to buy an RPG product because of the writer's personal politics. So long as said politics do not ooze into the product, a reasonable man or woman could care less how someone votes or thinks. And to its credit, as far as a cursory scan in the bookstore can ascertain, there isn't much of that in there. But unfortunately, as it turns out, this author hates you. See the tweet posted here, and archived as well. This was posted the day after Charlie Kirk met his untimely demise. The Alexandrian is too cowardly to even be explicit about what he is saying, but the subtext is clear. He seems to be happy that Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. In fact, he seems to be comparing him to Hitler. This is absolutely hilarious. Hitler killed millions of people. Charlie Kirk didn't kill anyone. And if he isn't making that comparison, then why did he choose to post this on Twitter the day after the man died? Why that day in particular? It seems like he is happy that this happened. You can draw your own conclusions, but it's clear. These people want you to suffer the same fate. They absolutely hate an entire 25 to 50% of the role-playing game player base. If you died, these people would be happy, and they veil it behind innuendo like they accuse others of doing. Make no mistake, this is a dog whistle like they accuse any on the right of doing. That is fine. But make no mistake, these people hate you. They even say, if you are a fascist in their mind, they do not want you in their community. And Wizards of the Coast supports this as well. That's why they were willing to shill for his books. A lot of people read his blog, but he only has 22,000 subscribers on YouTube, 6,700 followers on Twitter. That's as of the time of this video being made. His book became a bestseller with the help of shills and probably from Wizards of the Coast. And Wizards of the Coast has made no statement disavowing his cryptic celebration of a man's death. Of course, we cannot say for sure any of this is true. He just coincidentally happened to talk about Hitler dying the day after a man he compares to Hitler was killed, and then randomly accuse people of being sympathetic to Hitler. How bizarre. How disgusting. And these are the cornerstones of the tabletop RPG community. Be glad that this entire hobby is going downhill, because there is nothing left for it to offer but rot and hate and cultural degeneracy. It is full to the brim with people like this. Every TTRPG influencer hates you. They are almost all leftists, and they all think this way. This man, if we should be so kind to call him that, did not post political vitriol like this even 5 years ago. Yes, he was always leftist, but not with this kind of hate for men who merely spoke words. Of course, he did not say anything direct, but we can certainly speculate what he could have been thinking of. to post this on September 11th, 2025, when Charlie Kirk was murdered the day before, in front of his children. And this spineless cunt of a human being thinks it is proper to remind everyone that said man was a piece of shit for giving speeches and debates, to say he wished harm on others. Perhaps he wished harm on criminals. Perhaps. But that is justice. Did he wish harm on transgenders? Unlikely. If anything, he wanted them to escape their delusions. That's not to say he was right about everything. But it is absolutely insane when no one in their right mind has ever wished harm on the Alexandrian for his leftist takes. No one has ever told him, "I hope you die." I highly doubt that Charlie Kirk wished him harm. Maybe to change his views. Maybe he would feel frustration, but not harm. That hate is reserved for Alexandrian and his ilk. Let's be clear. Reddit supports this too. Merely saying you felt sorry for the family of a man who was murdered in front of his children means your Kickstarter gets flooded with rage messages until you issue an apology. Think about that. An apology for saying you were sorry to hear a man was murdered. This could only be acceptable if you were saying you were sorry to hear that Hitler was murdered. I suppose then that would be worth the outrage, but again, this man said words. That is all that he did. He never directly told anyone to end themselves. He never told anyone, except maybe criminal murderers, that they should die. The Alexandrian wishes harm, or at least disclaims he doesn't, yet still seems to want to add on that the person who died said things he disagrees with, as if that is some mitigating factor. The only possible conclusion is that these people believe that violence over speech is justifiable, at least to some extent. This is the punch a Nazi crowd. These are the people who would celebrate someone knocked out because they said something racist. It is despicable. And so many others agree. Huge proportions of the tabletop hobby do. Reddit endorses this. They cannot say it outright, without looking like the bad guys, but they definitely do not put in much effort to disabuse anyone of the notion. These people hate you. The Alexandrian hates you. Wizards of the Coast hates you. If you hold milquetoast conservative views, they fucking despise you. It is important to remember that. It is important to remember their words, because while the Alexandrian, to his credit, did not delete his tweet like a coward, he certainly may do so in the future. Or simply bury it. So many others want to bury this and forget about it. They were open and proud of stating their hatred for a sizable portion of their fan base. Just remember that the next time he publishes a book, make sure everyone who you know who might buy it knows how he feels. Show them his tweet. Of course, there's a fair chance they agree with what he said. But if they didn't, ask them how they feel about buying a book from a man who, it could be speculated, might wish them harm. These people want you dead for believing men are men and women are women. These people want your kids brainwashed. They want the games you play flooded with their propaganda and soulless art. They want to turn your tales of adventure into gay college dating simulators and coffee shop crawls. I mean, just look at these Legends and Lattes books you see in the Dungeons and Dragons section of the bookstore now. That is what they want D&D to be. They want you to be preoccupied with domestic consumerism instead of embracing your masculine warrior's spirit. They want to get rid of that toxic masculinity. These people want to cuck you in every possible way. They wish they could remove the violence from Dungeons and Dragons altogether, unless, of course, it was directed against lookalikes of their quote-unquote fascist enemies. These people are deranged, and their hysterical hatred of you is not going to end well for you. Stop patronizing them. Stop helping people who hate you. Stop helping people who help people who hate you. Remove yourself from the situation. The time to save the D&D hobby is past. It is now thoroughly infested with thespians, like the Alexandrian, who have fully drank the Kool-Aid and think that if you believed in traditional values and preached them, you somehow deserved death. He thinks that his fate was at least somewhat deserved over words. He speaks words. Does he believe he deserves the same fate? Clearly not. So it is obviously a matter of politics. It is clearly a matter of not believing in the same disgusting garbage he does. Now, to be clear, it is quite possible he was just talking about Hitler. Oh, sure, yes. Let's not go too far here. He was just coincidentally posting about Hitler the day after Charlie Kirk died, but it's a complete coincidence. Yes, Alexandrian, you are very clever. Plausible deniability. So, of course, everything in this video is pure speculation. But simply read that tweet, consider the day it was posted, and think. Think about the possible alternative explanations. And if you agree with this rotten insinuation that a man is somehow less deserving of life because of merely speaking words, merely debating, then go to hell. You are disgusting, and it is good to see your side losing. Hopefully you will see the light and be reformed. Maybe you will see that this kind of rhetoric is too far. Maybe you will stop wishing death on others just for thinking abortion is wrong, or something, but unlikely. That is fine. This video is not for you. It is for the people who share conservative values of any sort. Because it would seem like, if a person was happy at Charlie Kirk's passing because of his beliefs, and you share those beliefs, would they not want the same fate inflicted on you? Food for thought.